I am going to conduct your International English Language Testing System IELTS Test Speaking Module. Candidate's name is?
My name is Mushfiqur Rahman Shuvo.
Okay, Mushfiqur Rahman Shuvo, let me see your passport.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I am going to start part 1. In this part, I will ask you some questions for learning about your information and one familiar topic. How many languages can you speak?
I can speak 3 languages. As a Bangladeshi citizen, my mother tongue is Bangla, so I can speak and write Bengali fluently. And other 2 languages are English and Hindi. As an international language, I know how to read and write English perfectly. I know how to speak Hindi, but I can't write it.
According to your opinion, which of the 2 languages, mother tongue Bangla or English, easier to learn and speak?
According to me, as a Bangladeshi, I think Bangla is easier to learn and speak. But if we talk about not a Bangladeshi citizen, then obviously English is more easy to learn, because if we talk about grammar, then we can study English grammar in a systematic way. But if we talk about Bangla grammar, then there are so many difficulties and variations among them that it is quite difficult to understand in a short period of time. So I think, according to me, English is much more easier to learn than Bangla.
Do you know about lingua franca?
No, sir.
How useful English will be to you in your future regarding your career?
Regarding my career, English will be very important to me and will help me in various ways, because English is a international language. Wherever I go outside my country, I need to communicate with people, and English will help me to communicate with everyone, because as an international language, almost everyone in the world takes it as a way of communication internationally. Not only in communication, for my further studies, and also for other purposes such as jobs and recruitment process. Everywhere I go in the world, I must know English to communicate with them and understand what they are saying. So in my opinion, English will be very helpful to me in the future, because as a graduate student from Rajshahi University, I am going to a foreign country for my masters, to complete my masters. And for completing my masters in a foreign country, I have to study in English language, because in foreign countries just like USA, America, they prefer their masters.
What do you remember about learning language at your school?
At school, I remember that they mostly taught, when I was in primary grade, or when I was so little, they started with Bangla as my mother tongue. They taught me the basic functions of our Bangla language, their grammars and other aspects such as their letters and others. And then after a few years, they started to teaching us international language English. And first we almost learned the letters of English and Bangla language at the similar time. But as Bangladeshi, we talk with other people and our family members in Bangla, so we are very proficient in Bengali. But as a Bangladeshi citizen, we are not so much proficient in English, because we don't communicate in English naturally among ourselves. So to learn English perfectly and to speak fluently, we need to study the grammars that is taught in our schools.
What do you think would be the hardest language for you to learn?
The hardest language for me to learn would be Chinese, I think, because Chinese language is a very according to many people, Chinese language is very easy to learn, because there are so many little letters there, and they sound like almost the same whenever they speak. But I watch very many TV dramas and animes in Chinese version, but I couldn't understand those languages without subtitle. So when I tried to learn Chinese from various apps, learning apps such as Chinese learning app which I found in Play Store and other, when I search in Google how to learn Chinese and go through the procedure, it takes a very long time for me to understand how to study it and until I can speak Chinese. So I think Chinese is much harder to me, much harder than other language.
Who can learn a second language easily? Older one or younger one?
Younger one.
Why?
Because when someone gets older and older, they don't have the perception that he or she has when he or she is young. Because when the age of a person grow, the adaptability of that person decreases, and when he or she is in infant period or just after the birth or when he or she is small, then he or she, then that person is adapting to the nature, and when and at a small stage, if we try to learn a new language, our mind take it as a mother tongue and learn very fast rather than in old ages to learn a language.
What are the benefits of learning a second language?
Learning a second language is actually huge, because language is actually a barrier in today's world. There are many countries and there are many languages all over the world. As a Bangladeshi, we can speak Bengali, but our neighboring country India speaks Hindi. So we can't, if we don't know how to speak or read Hindi, we go there for travel. That will be a disastrous situation. And another thing, there are various movies, animations and other things that help in the entertainment industry. If we can't understand the second language, then we can't understand what they are saying, and we need a subtitle. And again, there are many scholars in different countries. They produce books in their own mother tongue. If we don't study a second language, we can't understand those books and we can gather those knowledge. So if we look over the overall situation, then I think learning a second language can open up a language barrier to understand the knowledge and the specific culture of that country that second language is in.
Thank you. I'm going to start part 2. In this part, you'll be given a cue card. We have 1 minute for preparation and you will have to speak 2 or 3 minutes. Where is your cue card?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your time starts now.
A TV program that is related to science. I have watched many such programs, but there is a program called Science of Stupid. That is the most familiar I am with, because it is a very funny TV program with and there we can learn a lot about science. In that program, we can see various examples of how people make fun of themselves because they don't understand science perfectly. In that program, they mainly focused on the center of balance and the velocity. Just for example, in the TV program, when someone is skating, he or she is skating perfectly because the center of balance is in the center, but the moment the center of balance is loose, they will fall, or they can harm themselves very dangerously, or even break their bones. The same thing when someone plays cricket, they have to take the shot with the bat to the ball, but if the ball hit the center of the bat, then that shot can go much higher than normal shot. This is taught in this is shown in the TV program, and the relative information about science relating to this incidents is also taught in that program, because in this program it is said that if we want to play cricket perfectly, we should try to hit the ball with the bat, and that the impact should be on the center of the bat, because the moment the ball hit the center of the bat, the force released by the bat is much higher than the other sides of the bat. Similar things I have seen many times. I mostly seen this program when I was eating lunch or my dinner, because at that time I prefer to watch something on YouTube. This program is I watched mainly on YouTube, and during that time I learned many things, such as why science is important in every functions of our life.
What other TV programs you enjoy during your leisure time?
There are many programs that I enjoy in my leisure time, such as Shark Tank, a new program that I recently watching. In this program, we can watch how many companies they sell their shares to gather the funding for further progress. In that program, there are various entrepreneurs. They came and tell the ideas about, and show their product to the sharks that are sitting there, and they told them their current valuation of their company and the product they are selling, and they wanted the shark to fund their companies so that they can progress further. In this way, this type of small entrepreneurs
Your
can
time is
become.
up.
Yes, sir.
Now I am going to start part 3.
Yes, sir.
How interested are most people in your country in science?
If we talk about our whole country, Bangladesh is a very small country with huge population, but the living standard of our people is not so high. So our people always try to invent something so they can make our life much easier. So they are very much interested in science. In our school, from our short age, people started to study science in their school, and it is necessary for in our country to have basic education on science. And then with the flow of time, when someone gets older and older, they get education in their college and universities. There are various fields such as science, commerce and arts, but our people is mainly targeted science as their study subjects, because they think that after studying science they can learn how to make their usual life, day-to-day life more easier, and invent things that is not there yet, and this way they can make life more easier. But it is not so. It is not.
What do you think are the most important scientific discoveries in the last 100 years?
In the last 100 years, I think most important scientific discovery is that there are many vaccinations that can help us get rid of many diseases, such as a few years ago there is a very deadly virus, coronavirus, that we are most of the world are affected by that virus, but because of the various scientists research on this topic, that it is possible to make a cure of that virus that save a lot of people all over the world. So I think it is the most important innovation in the last 100 years.
Do you agree or disagree that there are no more major scientific discoveries left to make?
I think I actually disagree with this, because I think there are so much more to discover in this world, because our life is full of hardship. Every day we woke up, we do our work. Yes, it is much more comfortable than in the past. We don't need to walk for miles after miles to go to our school. We have our own vehicle, but it is still not as like in our fictions or dramas that we watch, the innovations that we can see in those movies, but that is not yet possible for us to make. But if we can research thoroughly and with the period of time, then it can be possible for us to create the traveling equipments or weapons that can make our life and our country much safer and easier, that we see in many functional movies and many TV dramas.
Who should pay for scientific research, government or private companies?
Government should encourage the young entrepreneurs or young scientists to, by funding their research, and I think there are many intergovernmental organizations that are not related to the government. They also can provide funding to the young scientists so that they can invent many scientific innovations that will help the humanity.
Why do you think that children nowadays will be better in science than their parents, forefathers?
Yes, because if we talk about our country, then we can see the illiteracy rate of our country in the past is so huge that it's terrifying. But nowadays we can see people are sending their children to learn. The more people learn, the more people know about their current condition and the necessities of life. So nowadays people are getting more education, and they are finding various scope in science, and they are studying science to discover a new world. For this reason, comparing with the past, nowadays people are learning more science than.
How can we encourage our children to study science more?
We can encourage our children by showing the benefit of studying science. As like I said in the past, there are some TV programs that showed why science is important and very and related to our day-to-day life. Actually, if we talk about physics and chemistry, in our day-to-day life we always use physics, because every time my car breaks down, I use a lever to pull up the car, and it is related to science. Without the physics of science, I can't understand the mechanism of this product. So just like this, there are many other products that is very much influential in our life, and that is related to science. If we can teach our children, our younger generation, about the usefulness of this product and necessity of learning science, then they will be very much pleased to learn science.
Okay, Mr. Shuvo, thank you.